What's up YouTube? How are you doing today? Chana D, the Techno Dad here, and in today's video I'm going to go over a few things you need to think about before you plunk down a whole lot of money on a 4K TV this Black Friday. And we're going to get into it right after the jump. And I'm back. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Chana, and I've been a home theater fanatic since about the mid-90s. And I'm all about that PQ, you know what I mean? Picture quality, of course, that's what we're talking about. Now, if you want to step up your knowledge about 4K TVs and home theater equipment, you've come to the right place and you should consider subscribing. Alright everyone, Black Friday is upon us, and it's very important to know what to look for when shopping for 4K TVs and how to find the best one for you. There are a lot of factors that will make one TV better for you than another, and I'm here to guide you through that process. Now, if you want to skip all that and just jump to my recommended TVs for 2018, I'll put up a timeline so you guys can just, jump to whichever part you want to watch. Alright, so first things first, I want to start with this disclaimer. Okay, there are a lot of TVs on the market, and they all have different things that they're good at, and some things that they're not so good at, right? Like, let's say one has great brightness, but lacks in viewing angles. Or one might, support Dolby Vision, but it's on the budget side and the TV has issues with panel lottery, meaning the quality control isn't that great at the factory. You may have some issues with banding or dirty screen effect, which will differ from panel to panel. Some people might get it, some people won't. What I'm trying to say is that even if you spend $2,000, $3,000, or even like $5,000, there's probably still going to be little things about the TV that you don't like, and that's just kind of the way it is. So finding the right TV that fits your budget, your viewing environment, and your viewing habits is the mindset you need to have when shopping for a new 4K TV this holiday season. So first, let's tackle budget. I believe there are three main budget categories. The first is going to be the budget range, which I define as being under $1,000. Then we move on to mid-range being $1,000 to $2,000. And then premium being just over $2,000. Now, which category are you shopping in, and can you stretch your budget by $100 to $500 depending on which category you're shopping in? I say this because you might be able to get a better TV for just a little bit more due to the big sale on Black Friday. So it's good to look at the tier just above what you want to spend just to see how you can, stretch your budget a little bit to get something just a little bit better. Alright, next we're talking about viewing environment. Where this TV is going could determine the size of the TV, which coincidentally is closely related to how much it costs. And that's why we're talking about viewing environment right after budget. Is the TV going in a living room? Is it going in a bedroom? Or perhaps a basement or man cave or something like that? If you're looking for the average bedroom, a 49-inch or 55-inch will probably do the trick. Most living rooms, a 55 or 65 will be fine. Personally, I have a 55-inch in the master bedroom, and it's really nice. Since most of the TVs nowadays, have a small bezel, you're getting more TV, less frame, and that's always a good thing. Another thing to consider about a living room space is the amount of light coming through windows. I have like 6 big windows, and it causes a lot of light to come in through the day. So if you have a situation like this and you actually watch a ton of TV during the daytime, then you may want to get an LCD LED TV that can support, a lot of brightness to counteract the amount of ambient light in your room. Another thing to consider is how wide a viewing angle will you need, and will you be watching the TV from? We have a large room upstairs, and sometimes we eat dinner and the TV's on, which means I'll be watching at the steepest angle. And in this situation, I've noticed only an OLED can keep the color saturated, whereas the color on an LCD LED TV will wash out when I'm sitting there eating dinner. Alright, let's move on to viewing habits. Now, what kind of content do you mainly watch? Do you watch TV from a cable or satellite box? Do you watch mostly movies? Do you stream most of the time? Do you play a lot of video games? This can be a big factor on what kind of TV is right for you. And there's a whole thing about OLEDs having burn-in. And, what can I say to this? I have not experienced any burn-in in the past 2 years on my OLED, and I will be making a separate video about OLED burn-in and why I haven't experienced it at all. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, some say for lots of video games play, you want a TV with low input lag, especially with these new titles that have in-game HDR. You'll want to make sure that the TV has like a low latency, like HDR game mode or something like that. If you like to stream all your content, you may want to look at the operating system of the TV to see if it's as user-friendly as you need it to be. What does that mean? Well, I can't stand the Android OS on my Sony X900E. And even my wife states, I know the picture is better on the Sony, but this TCL is just so much easier to use. She was talking about the TCL R617, which has the Roku operating system, and that's the one we have in the master bedroom for testing. Simply put, if the OS is slow and clunky, you may want to look elsewhere. If you stream most of your content, or have a device like an Apple TV 4K or Xbox One X, you can always use one of those as a streaming device instead of the TV's operating system. Another thing to think about is, what kind of TV content do you watch? Do you watch HD signals or DVD signals or anything lower than that from a cable or satellite box? The more you pay for a TV, the better the internal upscaler is, because it's got to scale everything to 4K. That's another thing to think about. Do you watch movies more than anything else? My wife watches a lot of TV. I watch a lot of movies. And I love that when I'm watching a movie on the OLED, I turn off all the lights, and guess what? The black bars on the top and bottom, those things are non-existent. They actually blend into the background, and you just get that strip of picture, And that's something, if you're watching an LCD or LED TV, you're still getting the black bars even when the lights are off. It's just one of those things. All right, next we're going to talk about HDR, which stands for High Dynamic Range. Currently, there are 4 types of HDR. HDR10, Dolby Vision, HLG or Hybrid Log Gamma, and Technicolor. There is another one on the horizon called HDR10 Plus, which uses dynamic metadata like Dolby Vision, but unlike Dolby Vision, HDR10 does not support super bright 10,000 nit TVs and 12-bit color decoding. Will current HDR10 supported TVs get an update for HDR10 Plus? The answer is, we don't know. So far, Samsung and Panasonic are the only TVs supporting HDR10 Plus, and they have not supported Dolby Vision at all. Amazon Prime's video HDR catalog is available in HDR10 Plus, and for movie production houses, 20th Century Fox and Warner Brothers are supporting HDR10 Plus. And if you guys know of any more, please let me know in the comments below. So basically, you want to get the 4 types of HDR. The only option is an LG OLED, and you will not be getting HDR10 Plus. Sony's with the X1 Extreme chip will support HDR10 and Dolby Vision. There are plenty of Vizios, TCLs, and LGs, like LCD versions, that support both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Samsung and Panasonic TVs will only support HDR10 and possibly HDR10 Plus on certain models. At the very least, I would say get a TV that supports both HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Alright, next on the list is connectivity. Basically, this is making sure you have all the HDMI inputs you need for your setup. This may sound simple, but it really isn't. Some of the Sony TVs have 4 HDMI inputs, but only 2 of them will support full 4K HDR at 444 chroma. So that means if you have a Sony TV for a bedroom, you need to make sure your 4K devices are plugged into these 2 ports, and your non-4K devices like cable or satellite box needs to be plugged into one of the other 2 HDMI ports. If, however, you are connecting the TV to an AVR, then you will just need to make sure it has one HDMI input that supports, 4K HDR 444 chroma. And, it's always wise, to have an extra HDMI port just in case you add devices in the future. Alright, so my next tip is to look at current pricing. We have just about 2 weeks until Black Friday and Cyber Monday, so it's a good time to look around now to see what prices are for the TVs that you're interested in. That way, you'll be able to see how much you're saving in store. Just make a list, put it in an email draft on your phone so you can check it. while you're out and about in these stores, or put the TVs and prices in your notebook app. All right, now the part that you guys have been waiting for, maybe all of you, I don't know, my recommended TVs for 2018. Now I have links in the description where the TVs are grouped by price category, so definitely check that out when you're ready. Make sure to look and see what the prices are now before Black Friday, so you know what kind of deal you're getting. All right. In the budget category, meaning under $1,000, we have the TCL R617 or 615. They're both 55 inch and in the budget range, as they have some issues with panel lottery, and quality control. However, they do support HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and it's decent enough brightness for movies. Also, the TV has 96 zones of full array with local dimming or FALD, which gives better black levels for an LCD LED TV. The Roku operating system is really snappy and easy to use, and input lag for gaming is 15 milliseconds, so it's pretty good for online gaming. I played a lot of Call of Duty, hardcore, team deathmatch, and hardcore domination, and it's fantastic. The R617 is $649 on Amazon, and the R615 is $599 at Best Buy. The remote is the only difference, and the $50 price difference. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Samsung. In fact, I think you should stay away from that brand altogether. But if you are a Samsung fan, the NU 8000 series is a good choice in the budget range, and the 55 inch is $849 at both Best Buy and Amazon. There have been reported some issues, so make sure there's a good return policy that lasts longer than 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Who does that? Now, if you really want a 65 inch under $1,000, check out Vizio's M65-F0. I had this TV in for review for about 6 weeks, and it had great picture quality and color saturation when sitting directly in front of the TV. It also has FALD, so blacks look pretty good, but it doesn't have as many zones as the TCL, so it could look better. The only thing I didn't like was the way that the colors washed out when I was, at a steep angle, like eating dinner at the, dining table. The Google SmartCast OS is good. It's got a nice layout, but it was a little on the slow side. It's not a perfect TV, but if you're just getting into 4K and you want to spend $1,000 and you want a 65-inch TV, definitely look at that Vizio M65-F0. Now, if you want the best picture quality and motion handling for under $1,000, it's probably going to be the 49-inch Sony X900F, which right now is at $999, so just under $1,000 at Amazon and at Best Buy. This TV has FALD and it looks great, and for the price, can't go wrong. It is a little bit on the smaller side, but hey, you give up a little bit of size, you get better picture quality. Something to think about. All right, let's move on to the next mid-range. This is the price range from $1,000 to $2,000, and I think here the Sony X900F series TV is great. The 55-inch is $1,200 and the 65-inch is $1,800. I had the 55-inch from last year and it was a phenomenal performer. But it has that one silly thing that I don't like, which is the Android operating system. If you can get over the operating system, then it's really the mid-range TV to get. This year, the X900F did get the X1 Extreme chip, meaning it will support Dolby Vision along with HDR10, so that is a plus. The motion handling is superb, and since it has FALD, black levels are fantastic. I suggest you keep an eye on pricing, as you never know. If you can find the 55-inch X900F for $1,000, I would go pick one up right away. Now in this price range, we open up to a lot more TVs like Samsung and LG. I have links prepared down in the description, and everything's grouped by price range. Personally, I would stay away from like Samsung, but that's just me. Okay, I know everybody out there likes Samsung, so go for it, check it out. I would say no. Now, mid-range is where LG's OLED comes in. The 55-inch B8 starts at $1,700 and the C8 is $1,900. I would suggest going with the C8 as it has the faster processor, but if you want to save the $200, you should be fine, everyday use with the B8. All right, everyone, now we are in it. We are in the premium 4K TV price range. That's $2,000 and above. Now, first and foremost, you should check out the Vizio P-Quantum. I haven't seen it, with my own eyes, but my buddy Armando from Mondo Bites has it, and he has a video out about it, and he loves it. I talked with him the other day. He thinks it's great. Now, the P-Quantum is a 65-inch TV, and it's priced at $2,100 right now, but might be able to find it less at Best Buy on Black Friday. Link in the description is down there for you guys. Also a link to Armando's video so you guys can check it out and see how excited he was about that TV. Now, as you may know, I am an OLED fan, and this is where the OLEDs live. I personally have the E-Series OLED, and I believe the 55 inch is $2,500 and the 65 inch is $3,200. And for that price, you know, you can pay extra just for looks. Like the C8 will give you the same performance. So I would go with the C8 if you're looking at an LG OLED. Of course, if you've been looking at the pricey OLEDs, you know, Black Friday, now's the time to buy, you know what I mean? So I've got them all down in the premium section, so definitely check it out. Sony has released some new really hot TVs, and they're pretty insane. It's the Master Series, and those are the A9F and the Z9F. The A9F is OLED, and the Z9F is the LCD LED TV. Both TVs are amazing technology that will appeal, you know, to people looking for different things, so it's all good. Now, in the realm of premium 4K TVs, you kind of can't go wrong since all of them have just a ton of technology to get the best picture quality out of those panels. You know, I personally like OLED, and I would go with the Sony A9F 65 inch if I already didn't have, you know, an awesome OLED. So there you go, and there you have it. That's pretty much it, I guess. You know, there's some things to look out for, and some of the TVs I would look at if I was buying. Now, if you have any questions for me, hit me up in the comments down below or on whichever social media you like to use the most. Well, that's it for today's video. Check out the links in the description and make sure you know what the pre-Black Friday prices are of these TVs so you can see if you're in store that you're actually getting a deal or not, you know, because they could be tricking you. So watch out. I hate it when they try to trick us consumers. Well, anyway, if you liked the video, go ahead, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel using the button in the middle of your screen. Once again, my name is Chana D. I'm the Techno Dad, and I'll see you next time.